Hi, this is Michael from Barista Next Door, and today we're going to talk about the Baratza Encore and what value you get with this entry-level grinder. With a price of about $130 on Amazon, the Encore is pretty cheap considering that it is a conical burr grinder. So let's have a look at what it can actually do for this price. The Encore comes with a plastic hopper on top in which you can store your beans if you wish, and this hopper also functions as the dial for the grind coarseness. So it has 40 steps altogether, and you can turn the plastic hopper and this will determine how fine or how coarse your grinds will be. With a setting of about 40 steps, you can range from fine grinds for espressos all the way up to rather coarse fines for French press. One thing that you should consider if you're thinking about buying this grinder for an espresso machine is that the settings in the low, like the fine range, are not all that variable. So you only have like 4 to 6 settings that you can grind with for espresso, and in between you can't do any further adjustments. So any fine tuning for espressos is not possible with this grinder, and you should probably go with another burr grinder that is more adjustable. The Encore comes with this little plastic container that holds the grinds after they've been ground, and from there you can put them right into the portafilter. At the beginning this can be very fidgety as it has a very wide opening and it's very easy to just drop the grinds from the left or the right hand side of the portafilter instead of just putting it in the filter. So this is why you can consider grinding without this container and just putting a portafilter right in there, and then the grinder will grind into your portafilter. There's one issue with that though. The grinds do spread out pretty far after they've been ground, so there will be some grinds falling off on the edges of your portafilter. There's one reason I love to use the plastic container that comes with the Encore, and that is because I can use it with my scale, which is this little thing here, and every time I grind any coffee, I put the container on the scale first, then I tear the scale so I have it down to 0. I put the container back into the grinder, grind in there, and then I can pop the container back on the scale and I see exactly how many grinds I've got, how much it weighs, and this enables me to grind pretty consistently and use the same amount of grinds every single time. This is why I personally find it very helpful to have this plastic container that comes out of the grinder easily and then it can be put on the scale right away. There are 2 different ways you can grind with the Encore. First of all, you've got an on and off switch, which is on the side here, and then you have a pulse button, which is this one here. The on and off switch just works as it says in the on position, and usually you'll have it in the off position. If you ever need to grind, then you just switch in the on position and it will grind for as long as it is sitting in that position. The pulse button works the same way. You just press the button for as long as you need it to grind, and then you can just release the button and you're done grinding. There's no timer function on the Encore, and you have to do all the grinding manually and have to set the time manually. Now I personally am not using the on and off switch on my grinder anymore because it tends to get stuck in the on position and it takes a bit of fiddling around to just get in the off position again. This is a bit annoying as I'm grinding to weight and it makes it difficult for me to hit the exact weight. Anyway, the pulse button is pretty precise when it comes to hitting the right weight because as soon as you release it, it stops grinding and you can really get onto point with the weight that you want to be grinding. Summarizingly, it can be said that the Encore is a pretty great grinder that has very consistent grinds within the settings, and you can really easily use it for filter coffees and French presses and also espressos if you don't want to adjust it too much. However, if you like to get the best out of your espresso, I would probably recommend going to a grinder that is more adjustable in the fine range. Other than that, for about $130, you really can't go wrong with a conical burr grinder that is consistent. Now, this is all for me today, and as always, I'll see you soon.